I have learned a ton, and I love being able to critique it. I love it. But every time a lawyer goes into the courtroom, they're getting a little bit more experience and a little bit more experience, and they develop their, their art, so to speak. It's an art form being an attorney. It's a skill. They go to school and they get their license, but then they have to start learning. People just because they took a test and learned and passed and got their license don't mean they're any good in a courtroom. It don't mean that they know what they're doing and can win court cases. Because that's what's important. You're finding an attorney to win your case. You don't just hire an attorney to go through the motions. If that's the case, you can do that by yourself. You don't need a lawyer. We pay thousands and thousands of dollars. They're the ones that set their own price. Well, if you want 10 grand, then you better be worth 10 grand, right? Well, that's how we get in the trouble that we're in. These lawyers become friends with the judges and they become fixers. And in every county, especially here in Appalachia, you've got one fixer in every county. And they're real good buddies with the judge. And if you want your case, if you want a chance in hell at winning your case, you better come up with the money to be able to hire that fixer. If you can't, then you're stuck with one of the public defenders, or you're stuck with one of the lesser, cheaper attorneys that cost less money. But you're not going to get that relationship with the judge that comes along with that attorney. It's no different than the elected officials. It's a popularity contest. It is. And the legal community is very small. There's not very many people in the state of Kentucky that have a legal license, not compared to the number of population of Kentucky. It's very, very small. And, they work through inter counties. I don't know how to say that, but you know what I'm talking about. So they work in different counties with each other, and they eventually will end up in a case, opposite one another, if they're here long enough, practice long enough. So they all kind of know each other, and they all have experience under each different judge. Okay. um So she's that claiming they knew or should have known. She's also suing several employees of the sheriff's department, claiming they knew or should have known Steins was dangerous, should have warned her husband, and had a duty to control Steins. That's just so strange to me that that would be in there, but who was their boss at the time of the shooting. She is suing them as individuals and in their official capacities as the sheriff's department. Now, see, her lawyer knew to name them both in their individual and their official capacities, because now, like, say they got fired or they quit or an election comes and a new jailer takes over, they're not rehired on with the new jailer, then they would be out of the sheriff's department, right? Or new sheriff. Then they would be off of the sheriff's department if they were only named in their official capacity. then whenever they get off the sheriff's department, then it would be just like Mickey Stein's, as long as that's what I'm assuming. Remember, I'm not an attorney, but I'm assuming it would be just like Mickey Stein's. Mickey resigned or retired, whatever, and was replaced by Billy Jones. And because he was only named in his official capacity and not in his personal capacity, his individual, which you know as well as I'm sitting here that Ned Pillersdorf knew that. Oh, yes, he did. You can't tell me he didn't. Oh, no. And if he did know that, why was this lawsuit? Why did the lawsuit continue the way that it did? I don't know. I am just very, very disappointed, I guess. And what's even more shocking is that I don't think that Sabrina is even being told what is going on with that case. Like with this big ruling that happened. I don't think that she really understands I don't understand it. So that ain't no dig at all. What is a dig is that someone should be explaining the rulings where this is such a big case. I think she does have somebody that tries to talk to her and explains it to her, but for the most part, she don't even understand what's going on, what the rulings mean in her own case. That shows you the level, or shows me the level of communication, professionalism that came along with her case, with that lawsuit. I think it was jacked up from the get-go. I don't think it was ever intended to go anywhere. I really, really don't. I think maybe they tried to use it as a catalyst for the Ben Fields investigation that was triggered. Now, but we have to give it that credit to the lawsuit. The civil lawsuit was filed, and the criminal investigation into Ben, what little criminal investigation there was, what came immediately after that. But you know what? Now, Monday morning quarterbacking, hindsight is always 2020. On the backside, now being able to look back and see, it really doesn't look like the lawsuit was intended to succeed. It doesn't look like that to me, anyway. It doesn't look like that to me. I think I was getting ready to say something different, and I forgot what it was. But I'll think of it here in a minute, and I'll say it. Sheesh. I blame Suboxone. I have such a forgetful brain anymore, or memory, and I've blamed the Suboxone. It's kind of like a fog, a memory fog. I don't remember a lot of things. But anyway, court records in the Red Rum case show at least 2 of the 3 employees named convinced Steins to see his doctor the day before the shooting. Show at least 2 of the 3 employees named convinced Steins to see, so that must be the employees that are in the lawsuit. It doesn't name them in this article. I've put in for the records. I'm trying to get them. And so, but I haven't gotten them yet. Steins and Judge Mullins had lunch together at a local restaurant a few hours before the shooting. Steins intentionally and without privilege or justification placed Judge Mullins in imminent apprehension of harmful contact and made harmful contact by shooting and unaliving, killing Judge Kevin Mullins in his judicial chambers, the suit says.